We'll confirm that with a monitoring well network. What was the first part of that?
There was expected depth of mine.
The depth of mine is somewhat of a misnomer because it's not really a penetration, it's a skimming of the bluff on part of it. And the other part of it is notching of the bluff to create a kind of a contour mine. So we're only mining the very best material on the edge of the bluff. And that's depicted in that rendering or that graphic right behind John there.
For example, the actual elevation level of the sand that we're extracting is at approximately elevation 1020 to 1060. And so, in some cases, the bluff goes all the way up to 1120. It would be absolutely foolish and extremely expensive for us to take that bluff. So what we're saying is, well, as you go down the side of the bluff, you reach those particular elevations where the sand is that we are looking for. Well, there, at that point, we notch into the bluff at that level and create just a notch around it. So the bluff stays there, and we just came down about 60 feet down the side of the bluff and made just a natural cliff, and then what we call a bluff trail around those bluffs. And so only about 30 to 40% of the whole site is available for mining. Now, if we had all the money in the world, we just wanted to make a moon crater of the site, there's probably 20 million tons of sand on this site. But as it is, there's about 4 to 5 million tons available to do a responsible mining plan and leave something very nice on the site.
I think this is more of a statement rather than a question, and it just says, why do the opponents to this want to deny me the chance to support my family? I didn't write this. Why do the opponents to this want to deny me a chance to support my family? Is it because they want me to move away from the area I was born and raised here?
Here's another one. How many local jobs in our mine, I'm assuming? Who fixes the roads? How many trucks per day? Well, for our mine, at this point in time, now keep in mind, we're hopeful that nothing ever goes wrong. Well, but things always go wrong inevitably. If we had things really, really efficient, maybe we'd get one truck every 6 minutes. It's probably going to be more like one every 10 to 15 minutes. We're hopeful that we can be efficient and move along quicker. But then there's rain, there's weekends, there are truck breakdowns, there's all kinds of things that come up that will slow the pace down. So 10 to 12 truckloads an hour would be a very maximum off of our site, and in all likelihood it'll be in the range of more like half of that. How many local jobs? Well, that depends on the day. Well, first of all, dump trucks are heavy, they're gas hogs, they're expensive, and they're parked locally. So to run a mining operation, you don't park these in Eau Claire and drive them to work every day. They're parked locally, which it only makes common sense that local workers would work in local trucks. I don't think too many people, there's a lot of very qualified people in this township and in this county that can drive a truck for us. So in all likelihood, those truck drivers would come from this county, in this region, right in this local area, within probably 10 to 15 miles. And we need about 10 truck drivers a day. We'll have about 3 to 4 heavy equipment operators on a given day. We'd have a job superintendent, and we may have some laborers off and on. So that adds up to somewhere in the range of, let's say, 10 to 15 new jobs. And truck drivers would get paid at prevailing truck driver wages in the area. So that's what we're looking at. Go ahead.
Somebody asked a question about property values. How are they affected? Now, does anyone want to answer that? I'd love to I'll just tell you, if you go on our website, I think we posted an article that was written in, I know it was in the Tribune, the Cross Tribune, back a couple of weeks ago. I think if it's not posted, it'll be posted soon. Talks about property values in Trimble County since the mining operation. And it's one of the reasons that their property values have gone up. I'll just tell you, the most valuable property in Franklin Township is the property next to a frac sand site. I'll just tell you that. So, but you can go online. There are articles written about it, and you can do the work for yourself. And I think we'll post it on our website as well.
Another one, John. What about the traffic and safety for the community, especially the Amish?
Want me to speak to it? We understand. We all drive these roads throughout all the counties, and we are all very aware of the fact that there are a lot of Amish families and their buggies on the roads. And it is very important to us to find ways to be as safe as possible. I don't know how else to say that, because when I drive and I know I'm in an area, I take special precautions, especially at night. We are not a nighttime operation. We will regulate our speeds. We will regulate how our trucks leave and how they enter the sites. And we would love to hear from the Amish community and what they think we could do to make it even better. Somebody asked about property taxes. How are they affected with the zoning change? Do you want to tackle that?
Well, I should talk to the town chairman in Tunnel City about this, and they've got about 3 years, at least 2 years into this, and I asked him that specifically, and he said that they haven't seen any change in the property tax. I asked him if our property tax would go up if we change over to a mining operation, and he said no. And that's all the information I had. I just had one conversation from someone that had more experience at this in the township.
I think most people are concerned if our zoning changes. I had somebody ask me that, if our zoning changes, how does that affect anybody next door? Are you changing everybody's zoning? Of course, we're just changing the zoning on our property. And it does not affect your property taxes or your zoning on your own property. Unless, of course, you want to change it, and you're sure welcome to do that.
What is your expected start date? Well, we're hopeful that you'll help us with this and support our rezoning request. And there's still a little bit of fall left. There's a lot of setup that needs to be done. In all likelihood, it's going to be too late in the year this year to begin any actual mining operations, but there is a fair amount of setup and beginning overburden removal of the first 10-acre section. So we would hope to start this fall. We would immediately set up our entrance road and set up our job trailer and our scale, and be pretty quiet yet this fall. And in fact, a fairly quiet operation, I think, throughout the entire process, with only 10 to 15 acres. And if we could help you study what we're doing, we're fairly deep into our property, so in most cases we'll be almost 1,000 feet from any landowner or any road, except on a few phases. But certainly we'd like to start this fall, and probably into full scale with our operation in the spring, after road bans are off and we're able to get the mining going.
Somebody